Hey, what's that person there? What's up? Mm-hmm. Okay, excuse me. Wow. If you're in the chat, say something because I can't. I'm trying to hide. There we go. Live chat. All welcome to live chat. Last time the chat didn't 100% work, so I'm starting a little. Hi all. Hey. Oh, yo. EGAP 98. I do not know you, sir or madam, but I hope to get to know you, sir or madam. Edwin, I know you. You're easy to know. I mean that in a good way, bro. Yeah, my water. Neither? You know, I'm a neither too, so I'm with you on that. Booyah. It's just at work the other night, and I was telling somebody that, like, they were calling me he, him, and I was like, oh, you made a graboid nature documentary that one time. Ooh, okay. I gotta check that out. I like me some fan stuff. That's dope. That's fucking cool, man. um, yeah. EGAP 98 has made a graboid nature documentary that one time. I will be calling you out if you're in the chat. I always like to call people out so that way you're here and we can hear you and we're talking and you're a part of the conversation as well. Uh yeah, hold on. I gotta make sure I'm all recording on things. I am. Cool. I liked the graboid designs in the later films. Oh, fuck. Okay, let's say EGAP said I like the graboid designs in the later films. I like the graboid designs. I don't mind it. It rides into this is something I've seen in like the deviant art community where it's the rule of spikies or rule of spikes where you're just adding unnecessary spikes to things or whatever. But I don't know. I'm with the sort of corkscrew shape. That's actually I like that part of the design. I really like, and then I like the Shrieker design. Shrieker redesign is all right. Um, as long as you don't like the Ass Blaster redesign, we can be friends. Because I mean, it's not true. You can like whatever you want to. It's not. It's a free world. But that thing looks like shit. I don't mind saying it. Well, yeah, okay. We'll call this. We're already halfway in it. Yeah, the original design is very charming. That's what I like about it. Is that and it's not. I wouldn't. Charming isn't a word I would lean towards. It's more. I want to say realistic. Like it more. Edwin just called ass blasters vagina blasters. I get it. But the original Graboid design has an earthy quality. Like that's my like that would be mine. Oh, Conan, I like some of the elements in tongues in five, though then not being practical hurts. The Shrieker design in Shrieker Island had a cool color palette. Yeah, honestly, like I said, I can't really hate the Shrieker design. One of the things I would stress is that thing that Zoran says about the bioacoustics, where like how can a creature that goes from oh, we communicate by heat go to oh no, we're communicating by sound. It's and I mean you can like there's you can mix and match your world lores or whatever. It's just more a matter of like okay, like don't walk that back. We don't really need to do that. It's unnecessary. Uh, and I gotta just I hate the tongue. Okay, okay. The detachability of the tongues pisses me off because it makes no sense at all biologically speaking. It reminds me of that parasite. There's like this deep sea parasite that like replaces your tongue or not humans' tongues, although that would be absolutely terrifying. Don't say top 10 piss jokes and Tremors. Don't get me fucking started. I'm here to talk about the good things, EGAP. Number 10, none of them. But the detachable tongues in Tremors 5. And I was in my rewatch, I discovered this. The detachable tongues don't really show up in Tremors 6. They were like, oh, that's so fucking stupid that we didn't even do that. And yeah, Conan, the look of it, I do like the physical, the hook. I like that part of it. It's almost like the outer horns of the original graboid kind of become inner horns. and it's something that we only see once in total, or actually twice, because there's a little bit in four where the hooks actually hook onto Chang in the market scene when they take Walter Chang down. And I've always it's so cool when it happens, just and it's like it's I just love it. I really like that they dared to put graboids in the snow, even if production issues prevented them from filming in real snow. The snow I don't mind, and actually I saw somebody else having this conversation and it made me think of it, where that beginning where they're on the ice shelf actually doesn't it makes even less sense than you're thinking with the snow, because it's an ice shelf, like it's a physical compacted, like ice is hard that way, and like getting a graboid to like tunnel through compacted ice is a lot harder than getting it to go through snow, which is honestly, I'm I'm working on my own Tremors movies. I already made one, and Caitlin and I are coming up with ideas for another one. And one of the ones we want to do, we live in Iowa, is we want to use snow to make the graboid effect, because it's just so it's like right there, super duper easy, and it looks really cool. And just like I said, the idea of it, like it's underneath the snow, is really like it's cool. I wish they could have done the filmed in Bulgaria. uh, and I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on like there's no need to have gone back to South Africa when Canada is right over there. Um, yeah, all that jazz. And yeah, if yeah, it's pretty awesome actually. It's kind of cheesy as Tremors should be, but look up Tremors Far Afield. Caitlin and I worked on that. We're both really proud of it. Um, and we're working on another one too. It's Tremors Hunting Ground, because we're literally hunting the ground. I couldn't not use that title. It's a good title, and I don't give a shit. Fucking fuck yeah. But we're already off to a start, so I don't. I was all worried about like, because usually I gotta come up with a song or an intro. I'm making a film at the moment in the town of Redwater, which won't have anything to do with Tremors unless you count small references. Um, oh, who cares, man? Maybe it's Tremors adjacent. Like that's fine. Uh, Thank you guys for getting me off to a good start. Usually I got to come up with an intro, but that's enough of an intro. You're in here. We're doing talking Tremors. Do I got it going? I was kind of super sort of nervous because I gotta. My mom has been listening to the podcast after not listening to the podcast for the longest time, and she literally sent me like microphone equipment, and I took that as like a my mom nudging me like to keep podcasting, even though, like I said, she wasn't listening to it at the start. And so I really wanted to get back in and try to do something here. And I've had this on the fucking agenda. Um, so what we're gonna be doing tonight, what we're gonna be doing tonight, folks, and this is definitely like one of the hardest things I've had to do, is we're gonna be talking about the good things in Tremors 5, 6, and 7. And yes, I was struggling with creativity. Not even that. Things have been shitty in my regular life lately, and it's hard to run a podcast and deal with shitty things in your regular life. You got to get that stuff sorted out and bring it in. No, honestly, it's not me personally. It's actually my family's just kind of like, oh no, you're talking about EGAP. Sorry, Edmund. But yeah, trying to work through things here. So we're going to talk about the good things in Tremors 5, 6, and 7. So if you have stuff to say that's good stuff about those movies, we're off. Like that, and that's where I thank you guys that we actually that kind of worked with. I like the design of that one. I like the design of those graboids. Okay. And it's not. I'm not even like sad about things. It's more just like, damn it. Okay. I really don't want to do this like at all. I have to get this out of the way to do some other things. As you know, yeah. Edwin, don't dislocate your kneecap. You said that to somebody else. I don't know who, but like, don't hurt yourself, bro. Yeah, we're gonna be nice. That's how that works. So if you have good things to say about Tremors 5, 6, and 7, write into your host at talkingtremorspodcast dot not existing because I don't have an email for Talking Tremors. That would be dumb. Um, yeah, but if you have good things to say about that in the chat, we're gonna do it. And we're gonna start with Tremors 5. Okay. Like I said, I have all this written here. It's been like a month where I've watched these movies about 3 times, and I've just taken notes. And they might be a little scattered, but they exist. Um, I gotta say, okay, okay. You know what? Conan just said I like the TV bits at the beginning of was it 5 and 6. The character, especially Bert, is famous for something that sets Tremors apart. Bert Gummer's TV show was fun. No joke, guys. That's actually uh my first thing that I like. The continuation of Bert Gummer's survival videos. And it's something where I'm always like upset that it didn't continue with 6 and 7 because it's like we take what was really like a great idea from the TV show. The BMX shit was not cool, Edwin. I don't care. We take what was a great idea from the TV show where Burt Gummer is just constantly making these videos in essence to like warn people. It's not even for any money. You can kind of tell he's just so absolutely terrified of the Graboid Shrieker and Ass Blaster threat that he's just making these videos all the time, prepper videos. Um, and I love to, and this is where it would have been great. You could tell with the TV show by having Larry be like the film, like bringing in a camera in his later episodes. Like, oh, if you could have gotten Bert and Larry together, you would have had the ultimate videos. And like at the time, I always loved that Jody is the editor for Burt Gummer's videos, and it's kind of cool too to see that like the whole town gets in on it. Like even Tyler's always giving him tips and tricks. Be more bossy, be more. That'll get the city slicker types. They love that bungee rafting kind of shit. But it's really cool, and like I said, I really do like that those videos kind of start us off. But there's one thing, yeah, there's one chainsaw in the Graboids against the Graboid in the films. Desert Jack does it. Uh, yeah, just almost like they didn't want to have to work on the original Tremors to be evolved. And yeah, so there wasn't an actual one. So no joke. In my second movie, I'm using a chainsaw at the beginning, but I ran out of gas because I used it so much. It's actually a cute little joke, and I'm going to use it it ran out of gas, and I'm going to leave it sitting there, and then it's going to come back around at the end. So there is going to be a chainsaw used against the Graboid in my Tremors movies. Yeah, I already beat you to that. Like, just as I know what the people want, and I will anticipate your needs. Anticipate me. Uh, there's one thing I do totally have to point out, and like I will shit on things as we go here because I can't help but do that. Um, and I only realized this talking to the TikTok Graboid that in the Burt Gummer video at the beginning, they actually give away the redesign of the Graboid. Like you would think that would be something that they would save for like, oh no, we want that to be revealed later in the movie. But there, and even more so, how does Bert know that that's gonna look like that? Like he wouldn't actually have that footage. He would have I mean, not like he would actually have footage of Graboids and stuff, but like there's a legit CGI model, which is fun. It's not even a fucking finished CGI model. It's so dumb. Um, it is impossible not to shit on them. But they literally give away the twist of their movie in the first 30 seconds. And you can tell that nobody even thought of that. Like and yeah, he's surprised in the movie, but then you're also like, but wait, that was just in your video at the beginning. So how are you surprised that exists at all? This is fucking, you're dumb. Just dumb. Just stupid, stupid, stupid shit. And actually, that's what I had my biggest fucking complaint about all of this. And I learned it having made my own Tremors movie because you realize when you're making an effects heavy kind of thing, no, he didn't edit it later because like Oh, yeah, yeah. Don't want to use the Burt Gummer TV bits because he wanted it to feel like an in-universe documentary. He didn't edit it in later because they make one after the whole movie. That's the one at the end with him and Travis. Like then they edited a new one, but that one at the beginning is like Burt before he went to South Africa talking about graboids, and so it's like, okay, this isn't you didn't edit that in. That's not like you can't in your canon make that so. And I realized this like making my own like there's a lot of when you're doing an effects heavy movie like that, there's a lot of stuff that you do after the fact. And you do it after the fact to make it go forward. Like I don't know if that makes sense. Um yeah, and if he was going to keep it up to date then he would have added Travis. But like there's when you're making that the term ADR added digital recording when you're adding things afterwards with your voice even and stuff and then like yeah, I didn't think about it either, Conan. Like, I didn't realize it was like bad until somebody else pointed it out to me. And I run the fucking Tremors podcast. Like, when you're making something, you're adding it in after the fact. You have to think about it going forward. It's the effect of it. Like you're trying to add it in to make something make sense later. If you're a fan of Doctor Who, actually, that's always people love Stephen Moffat's writing in yeah, oh my God. And EGAP, that's the title card in Tremors 5 was a nice throwback to the first film, but it just makes you think about a better thing. And if you're gonna do that, you have to surpass it, or you have to at least do something with it. Like you can't go back and add it in unless you're thinking about bringing it forward. Always has to be going forward. It's like the reverse of like trying to build a house. Like because you're writing and stuff, you don't need the physical things. You can always be building your house backwards. As long as your house looks good by the end, that's all that matters. And that's where I said the Doctor Who thing, like you when you're writing something and you're doing this thing, you know what's going to happen. You always should know what's going to happen or like you're not doing your job. Honestly, that was my biggest takeaway from making my Tremors film was like, how are people getting paid to do something that should be a professional level that is not at a professional level that just makes me ask questions, more and more questions. When I watch the Stampede Tremors films, I don't get questions, I get answers. I get like, oh hey, that works into that goes into that flows into that. Um, and yeah, I just got a whole off track about how dumb that is, but it is. Like when you add something after the fact, it has to move forward, not backwards. Um, and on that note, one of the things I love about Tremors 5 is that if Burt Gummer is going to be the focus, it's a really good thing that we're going to flesh him out. And it's one of the things that I think is the strongest point of the TV show is that realizing that if Michael is going to be the only one that stays around, all right, we've got to give him some meat to work with. We got to give him some character, something to kind of launch off of. And it's where a lot of other people don't like Jamie Kennedy as Travis. I I will go to bat for Jamie Kennedy as Travis. I won't. I mean, I think the only other Jamie Kennedy role that I'll really like, oh yeah, that was good, is him in Scream, where he's that's a great use of Jamie Kennedy. But I don't mind Jamie Kennedy's Travis. I mean, there are some plot holes and mistakes in the Stampede's films, but they're still extremely smart films. Burt wiping his forehead when a shrieker shrieks at him is such a small but clever bit. Oh yeah. Oh, I just caught that. I didn't even realize that. Like in the second film, when it's so hot, because it's so hot that it literally makes Burt wipe the sweat off of his brow. Good one, Egap. I didn't even catch that. But I like I said, I do not mind Jamie Kennedy, and that's if my biggest qualm with number 7 is that there's no Jamie Kennedy. Um, I think in the end, the bigger thing that I have the like, I'm just not sure about that is uh Travis being Burt Gummer's son. Like that one I waffle on. I think there could have been a great thing where he's not his son, but he's just there and annoying the fuck out of him all the time. Like he's his new sidekick. But then, and that's where seven would have retroactively made that better by like, okay, now we finally have passed the torch. Now Travis has become Travis, not Travis B. Welker, but Travis B. Gummer. Which, oh my God, that was oh, it's right there. It's right there. We go from Travis B. Welker to Travis B. Gummer. Fuck you, Universal. How do you fuck that up? Um, and if you don't know, then you should know. The only reason Jamie Kennedy wasn't in Tremor 7 was that Universal was like, oh, we really need you, but we don't want to pay you what we need you for. So will you take it at like a third of the pay? And Jamie was like, I can't even like eat for that, and then left. Like again, I never thought that I would like, yay, I like you, Jamie Kennedy. But like I'm batter up. I'm swinging for Jamie Kennedy. Um, just just so dumb. Just so dumb. Oh, I got big farts. Oh, excuse me. I hope no one heard that on the camera. Oh, and on that Jamie Kennedy thing, there's a great echoed line in Tremors 5 that I really appreciate, where at the beginning, Burt Gummer says, uh, Travis is like, "You need to fix the Burt Gummer Bullseye brand," and Bert's like, "I don't need fixing." And then by the end, you know, it comes back all the way around, and Burt Gummer's like, "You said you were gonna fix me. You said you were gonna fix the Burt Gummer Bullseye brand," and Travis just comes up and you don't need fixing, pops. Um, yeah, be well, EGAP. Like I said, we're here all the time, or I try to be here all the time. Thank you for what you could, man. I gotta check out your Graboid documentary. Check out EGAP 98. Is it 98 or 89? I couldn't tell. Check out their Graboid documentary. Check it out. Thank you, bro. And but I love that. Yeah, EGAP 98. I love that. You know, Travis went from "I have to fix you, Bert," and Bert being like, "I'm unfixable," to Bert being like, "All right, I'll give you some. What do you want me to fix?" And Travis is like, "Well, you know what? You're Bert Gummer. You don't need fixing." And I mean, he needs fleshing. He don't need fixing. Well, we'll come to that later. In this day and age, Bert Gummer can use just a little fixing. Just a little fixing. Uh, at the beginning of Tremors 5, they do this thing where that guy falls down the well, and you see that there's some cave paintings on the wall. And I think that it's a cool idea that they do absolutely nothing with. I like, and I know that that comes from Stampede Entertainment's original Tremors 5, where like the cave painting would have came in at the end, where the guy actually like uses it to like, oh hey, we know that these exist because of that. And maybe there's something to be said that like, oh, the cave painting allows the setup of them at the camp, knowing what the Impandulo and Incanyambe are. It's no, that's not like, you already kind of have that. That's not there. That's not enough. You're not doing anything with it. Like, uh, every time I've had this ever since cavemen saw graboids. I've had this ever since I've watched Tremors 5, and I get it every single time because Bert literally says, "What's next? Shriekers that talk?" And I'm always expecting, like, if there's a cave painting of like graboids and stuff, that there's going to be a shrieker that comes out, and it's like, "Ah, Yarky Bark Bark. I'm a Shrieker Man, and I'm here to tell you the tale of the graboids." But it never fucking happens. So I'll see you later too, Edwin. Be well, bro. And just fucking pisses me off. You got great cave painting. Oh, what's this idea that they've been around a long time? And then we do jack shit with it. Like I said, I'm trying to talk about the good things, but there's some good things, and they just make me want to talk about the bad things. And I'm so sorry. I'm doing my best here. Um, and in that sense, there's a note then right afterwards. There are attempts to reboot the franchise, but they just don't work. I'm a Dave. I'm a mighty hungry, indeed, Edwin. Like they, if we're if you're trying to make a movie, I disagree with this idea that you just make a movie and it's just fun. I can't wait to see Cocaine Bear, and I assume that there's going to be some greater story to Cocaine Bear than just like we don't feed bears cocaine. And yet the best things about these films are unrealized potential. There's a great one of my favorite lines of these three is the in Africa when the sun every morning the gazelle wakes up and he knows he's got to outrun the fastest lion or else he gets oh. Every morning a lion wakes up and he knows he's got to outrun the fastest gazelle or else he's not going to eat. So it don't matter if you're a lion or a gazelle. In Africa, when the sun rises, you better be running. And there's a great thing that Dan Bravers is one of my favorite characters in that movie. It actually is my favorite fucking character in that movie. And like there's a great thing that could have totally happened here in these movies where we actually take a step back and we examine the purpose of the Burt Gummer character. And when we go, hey, you're leading this life of being a monster hunter and like you're supposedly a survivalist. You're going out and you're putting your life on the line to like to save other people. Who are you? Who are you as a and even the Dan Bravers guy, like his first line to Bert is, "It's a strange attraction." Eh? What? A monster hunter. It's a strange attraction. Like he's asking him, like why do you do the things that you do? It's kind of fucking nuts. And like this crazy South African pilot guy is even asking him that. And it's what I and it is I have to say it is the thing that I hate about Tremor 7 is if you ended Bert's life and you didn't answer this question. Like and you get and they get I can't say that they get really close. They get closer to the idea with the Richard Brake villain's last lines to Bert, where it's like, uh, you you beat these things, and Bert says, I don't beat these things, I just survive. And it's that line right there is enough that like you like that should have been your focus. If you're gonna make this trilogy and your idea is that like we're gonna put the Burt Gummer out of the way, this like, hey man, like what is this life? Yeah, you set up a question and you get zero payoff for it. What is this life for you, man? Like this is like to and Travis even says this in the do you know any monster hunters? You know, do you know any graboid hunters? I know Bigfoot hunters, you know, but how many graboid hunters? Zero, zilch. There's you, man. You're a one-off. You're Burt Gummer. You're a one-off. Rosetta Stone me, dog. And like, and he does it in the end. Like Travis has enough skills on his own. Like Burt Gummer never really teaches him. There's no actual passing of the torch. And and it's such a great idea. Like that's my like if you give me Tremors and like Michael Gross is alive, that's my question that I ask. And the Tremors the series does that a little bit. And in fact, not just a little bit, it does that with the entire relationship of Bert and Tyler, where like Tyler is coming in and questioning everything about Burt Gummer's lifestyle. And like, hey, there's a great bit late in one of the later episodes where Bert's going on about like Tyler, you went Judas on me, you went rogue, and Tyler's like, you know what? What are you talking about, man? I make you better. Like I make you user friendly out there in the field. I even eat your damn cactus. And it's just and just like you're Bert, you are a paramilitary paranoid. God, what's that? I love that. Hold on, I got to get it right. Made me look like I was some kind of antisocial paramilitary paranoid. And it's like, that's, you are though. Like, you can't say that. You can't fucking say that because it's true. And yeah, and Edwin just said, make, and not just five, make five, six, and seven about why does Bert do these things? Why? And I think, and we don't ever get a real why exploring that character. Again, I just got on a whole fucking. I didn't like I said. We're trying to talk about the good things, but there is a good. There's a nugget there. There's a little nugget of something that like we could turn into popcorn or grind it down into oil if we wanted to. But and yeah, make six about Travis Learning, make seven about why he can't do that forever. Instead, the whole reason that he went to that island is because he didn't want a sewer. How about you just do what is kind of and John Heater even alludes to it. You have post traumatic graboid disorder, and that's the real reason you ran away. But no, that would have been too fucking easy. And yeah, and on that note, I'm doing the good things, and because Jamie Kennedy's not the worst, that's my next note. And then Bert should be a global brand. Travis is so right. Bert Gummer should be a fucking a global, very true. Guys like that, anti-government paranoids, paramilitaries will respond, Chad, yes to that. Yeah, and in a way they will. Like I know that it's harder to call those things out, but you get a much more interesting world than just ignoring it. And like to the guys that'll Chad yes and like beat their chest, it's a lot better to hold up a mirror and be like, what's the point of this? Are you sure about that? Do you really want to this life that you want to lead? You're gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger guns all the time. Eventually, you're just gonna like you are running down a road where you're gonna kill yourself. Like as much as you don't think that you are, that is the life that you've chose. And and Bert and you know what's funny? We actually see this in the real world. Now that I say that, it's fucking funny because there's Bert Gummer's Subterranean Meme Stash. If you don't know it, go check it out on Facebook. But this entire concept of Bert Gummer being an actual global brand is something that we have in real life, like legitimately. And it's what Conan was just saying about the anti-government paramilitary types have like responded to this man, and they have made him the emblem of who they are. And it's not even just the meme stash. Like people will fucking they have taken Burt Gummer to extremes, but they have made him their fire, their torch. He is their brand. He is like uh uh, I'm trying to say I might lose some followers with this whole idea, but it's just like we've got like Burt Gummer has pushed the gas pedal on extreme conservatism, and I mean that, and I'm not gonna fucking back away from that. Like that is unfortunately true, and it's hilarious because that's not Michael Gross. That's not what the character is, and the Bullseye brand bullshit. Yeah, like that's Burt Gummer is, and I say that because the character is so well developed by that point, and it's kind of funny because the character is well developed, but the way that he's used by other people is not well developed. It's just honestly, I could tell for a lot of people that have Burt Gummer as their brand, they watched up to Tremors 2 and they went no further. Like that's, I mean, they just watched, and in fact, it doesn't even feel like they watched Tremors 1. They just watched Tremors 2 just over and over again. And then even funnier, they miss a lot of the points in Tremors 2 where it's like, yeah, Burt, you may have a truck full of explosives and all this shit or whatever. You still didn't follow rule 4 of gun safety and find out what's behind your target. And you fucking blew a hole through that shrieker. And it was cool. I'm not going to deny that. You still killed the truck. So, like, and I always laugh because it's just like, these people that think that you're just like, you took this and you just made it your whole fucking personality. And one day you're going to shoot through the wall and you're going to find out that there are limits to that. And it's one of the, and I can't say that that's not expressed in that movie because it's continually hilarious how that happens. And then later on when he puts the shriekers into place, and he says this twice, he says it 2 different times. I didn't know. How could I have known? Bert, you are literally going around telling everybody that they should know more, ask questions, get intel, and yet you're not doing that at all. Like, do you not understand the irony of who the fuck you are? Even more so, the irony that later in the third movie, where you blew up your own fucking house because you were just like, I got to, these are a new breed of shrieker blasters and I gotta blow them up because they're gonna multiply. And lo and behold, they don't. And you fucking fucked yourself right up the ass with a great big spiky graboid dildo. And so, yeah, Burt Gummer should be a global brand. The fact that he's not inside of the Tremors universe is really mystifying to me. Which is even funnier when you find out that like they have all those videos of Burt Gummer. That's the brand, like that's his brand. You can't like and he. I'll get to it. We'll come back. I'm just getting off track with hating things. And on this note, I do love this joke that's in. Oh yeah, this always actually speaks to the truisms of generals always fighting the last war. Conan Howard. That's so true. Actually, and that's something that you can tell Steve Wilson brings to the Bert's always prepared for the thing before. He's always prepared for the thing that happened before. He's never prepared for the thing that's happening now, and that's what fucks him up. He's always fighting that last thing. And he does upgrade. He's kind of like Iron Man, Tony Stark in that sense, where he's always upgrading. The last thing that happened to him, he uses it and takes it forward, but then he doesn't have enough to keep going and keep going. It's all cool, Edwin. I love you, bro. And I love that there's this continual line usage with Bert, starting with Tremors the series, and then Tremors 5, and then Tremors 6. I don't think there's a line about it in Tremor 7. You with the government? 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 Like he literally asks every single person. It really feels like every person. You with the government? You with the government? You with the government? Like he's just that fucking paranoid on that level that he can't ever get out of. You with the government? You with the government? Like, I wish I was mocking, or that was an exaggeration, but it could almost be Bert's new catchphrase. You with the government? And I gotta say, I think the reason that Tremors 5, 6, and 7 have any redeeming values at all, and I really do mean this, and I'm gonna take a drink some Canada Dry Ginger Ale. I don't do product placement, so fuck up. Ah, it helps. The bubblies help because I get so. Wah! The reason that Tremors 5, 6, and 7 work on any level is Michael B. Gross. I don't know if B is his middle name, but who cares? It might as well be. Michael Gross remembers everything. And I mean, let's not say everything because it's hard to, like, him just being one person trying to keep the continuity alive after having Steve and Brent and Nancy and Ron keeping it alive along with Michael. So that's 5 people that were doing it. Michael carries that fucking torch of continuity through the whole thing. There's a line in 5 that I always like kind of smile at because I'm like, oh, Bert remembered that. Is in Tremors the series, Tyler's trying to tell Bert about Rocky the Flying Squirrel. They're describing ass blasters, and he's like, yeah, it's like Rocky the Flying Squirrel. Bert's like, who? What the fuck are you talking about? And has no idea who Rocky the Flying Squirrel is. But then in Tremors 5, Bert literally says it's like an ass blaster. It's like Rocky the Flying Squirrel. And I just like, oh, Michael remembered. Or Michael at least rewatched his own TV show, which I appreciate. If you're making a new movie, it's never a bad idea. Rewatch the things that you made before. That's actually the thing that Steve stresses when they made new Tremors movies. They just went back and rewatched their movies, figured out what they did right, what they did wrong, and then moved forward. And yeah, Michael remembers everything, like, well and truly. He has an ability to rattle off the name of guns that is just he's not an anti-gun liberal. I know everybody says that. He likes guns. His whole stance is like, let's just use them responsibly, which is kind of something that Bert says himself. So like, I don't see how that's an anti-gun stance. But hearing Michael rattle off the names of things, I wish I could do it. I should have wrote them down, but it's always uh, 30-06 or 4 barrel 34. Like the way he does it, it's just like, man, you can tell this guy had a pen and paper just sitting there. 30-06 of a 4 barrel. In Tremors 2, he does that grizzly grizzly single shot big bore anti tank based on a World War I BMG thing. Um, and you can tell Michael just is like before the internet was reading and researching the shit out of everything. And yeah, so I would say if you think Burt Gummers or if you think Michael Gross is an anti-gun liberal, you really need to take a step back and examine some things because you can't do everything that he does and not at least have some affinity for them or at least understanding their purpose and their place. You know, I always say that I'm probably one of the weirder proponents for I wouldn't say gun control, but my ideas of like you should be able to own a tank with the proper permits. If you if you go to a class, you pass a test, you do everything that you need to, hey, you can here's your tank keys and thank you. There you go. And then on that front too, I then say like, okay, yeah, our mental health problem is kind of the whole reason that we have a gun problem in America, and I'm not afraid to say that. But yeah, Michael Gross is the fucking one reason that these movies work. I mean that. I mean that. Not even being mean. I mean that. And so there, I do have to call it out. The monkey's wedding thing in Tremors 5, where, oh, yeah, you can set your watch to this lightning strike. It's a little ham fisted. Yes, I'll give you, okay, you thought it out. Thank you. I appreciate you. I did that. I did the same thing in my Tremors movie where I talked about, oh, I gotta pump the electricity on this fence up, and then I use the electric fence to kill the graboid. It's important when you're writing these things. You got to make sure that you at least had it before, so that way when it comes back around, it's ready to go. Uh, and even cooler, I do love Travis in the fifth movie doesn't trust Van Wyck. Like he's not only just calling him names all the time, but then he even comes up to Bert and is like, "What was the name of that South African wildlife thing that that guy said he was a part of?" Because I don't believe that he was a part of that at all because it sounded like it was fucking bullshit. And like it's very Gummer. It's a very like if you're trying to build him being his son, it's a very Gummer move where you don't trust the government official in that sense. Um, I do, like I said, I do like it. And then seeing children use electricity to get worms to the surface was good. And you know what's funny? I always love that because it shouldn't. I really like Godzilla 1998. I know that I shouldn't, and I know that it's. And I actually, having watched it later on in life, I see the flaws in why people don't like it. It's not a Godzilla movie. It's a giant dinosaur movie. Um, it's not a Godzilla movie. It shouldn't have been called Godzilla. You could have called that giant dinosaur rampages New York City, and I feel like everybody would have responded to that movie better. But there's a great thing in Godzilla 1998 where they're like Matthew Broderick uses the worms, uses the electricity to bring the worms up to the surface. And I always wonder, is like, you know, my hoper of hopes is that like, was someone referencing that movie? Oh man, I hope so. It's really dumb, but that would be so cool if Tremors 5 was referencing Godzilla 1998. I doubt it, but this is about the good things. So let's yeah, I hope so. Um and then to go back to that cave painting thing, let's pretend that that was good setup. All right, there. Ooh, people have seen it. Ooh, the Incanyambe and Impundulu. That is so cool to me, and that's a nice holdover from the original Tremors 5 with Stampede, where it's like, oh yeah, these things have been around a long ass time, and people have learned how to fight against them. It's cool. I mean, I don't mind the concept. Uh, Although they did totally change the names. What is Gubalagari? Ah, is it Gubalagari? Ah, fucking shit. I should have looked it up beforehand. But yeah, honestly, mine, I always like the word Impundulu. I don't think that it means anything in any real dialect, but if you don't want to call an ass blaster, call it an Impundulu. That's totally cool. I like graboid, so calling it an Inkanyambe doesn't really like work as well. I like graboid, but Impundulu. It makes it sound like, Asplaster, it is like French, but like, I know it's South African. Well, South Africa has French roots. Oh, yeah. And on that note, nighttime ass blasters is a smart move. Uh, nice. Uh, like, seriously, I always see that complaint from people where it's like, shriekers and ass blasters are in the desert, and that's usually a hot area, so it would be really how can you work that where they're able to differentiate. But and also I think a lot of those people miss that like infrared works on different heat levels, so you could it might be hot in the desert, but like we're still going to radiate a little bit differently than the exterior, and even more so, you'll still be able to see an outline of food. Like it may be hot in the desert, but like the human body outline is still there, and then the fact that we're moving is like that's all they need. They don't really need to see the ambient temperature. They can figure out, oh, that thing is moving. Let's go eat it. Like da. But nighttime ass blasters is a really smart move. Uh, I think it's not utilized well enough in that. Like one of my one of my things that when I watch those movies, I always think that they're trying to make Tremors more scary, a little more serious, which is fine. I don't think that it should be fully serious, but we can up the serious level a little bit because Tremors is a horror. And it's like those they like we could do a scary thing with that. We could actually get freaky, but they choose not to. They kind of like half-ass it, and we don't get full scariness. There's a great shot in 5 with that ass blaster over top Bert as the lightning's crashing, and he's like, and the ass blaster stalking him, but it never really reaches this full like, oh no, we're out of control and we should be terrified, sort of thing. Makes me sad. Uh, Here's a great bit. So in the TV series, when they're hunting ass blasters, Tyler says, we should have Jody make these into suits for hunting for doing this. And Bert's like, I don't plan on hunting ass blasters. I don't plan on hunting ass blasters full time, so they don't make suits for it. Excuse me. And but what's funny is they did make suits. Actually, they did make suits by the end because they had the Night of the Shriekers episode, and their Bert's wearing a suit, an infrared suit by that point. But I love that Bert listened to Tyler. Like I know and I feel again that's just Michael making sure, or it's either Michael making sure, or people just being lazy and like, oh, we don't want to have to like, oh, there's a poncho and do that. Oh, they have a whole outfit. I would love to believe, and you know what? There's a when Bert's doing the heat packs for the for the for the for the ass blasters and using heat packs to distract them. Love that. Great idea. Again, we're using the infrared heat to distract them. I'm into it. Bring it on. Cool. Um, and I have a note. This movie, Tremors 5, I think is peak Bert. I think, Tremors 3, Tremors the series is the rising action, and Tremors 5 is peak Bert Gummer. Legitimately so. Like in a really great way. Until that fucking lion piss scene. And we're just gonna keep walking from that. Because I don't want to talk about it because like we're here to talk about the good things. But this movie is peak Burt Gummer. Burt Gummer at the top of his game. He should have been like getting called out to go fight the graboid shrieker and ass blaster menace, and he's doing his job. He knows what he's doing. He's kicking ass at it, and it's nothing but net on that one as far as I'm concerned. Um, because then I have like he's got so many of the like this is AWOL, KIA, AB, EVA, like so many acronyms in all of these and I'm always I know what all those acronyms are, but you're always just like, Jesus Christ, Bert, get a hobby. Oh wait, this is your hobby. Maybe we should have explored that concept a little more. So in this first movie, the first time we see it, I really like the Nandi Arrow girl. Like the first time we get this, it's actually not a terrible idea. I mean, if you don't have anything else, that's what she's using. She gives Bert her biggest gun, so she's left with just these bow and arrows. And it's, I really appreciate like, hey, okay, why not? Yeah, I can't. We always have lots of improvised weapons in Tremors. Why not a girl with a bow and arrow? Fuck it, fuck it. I say. We were just talking about chainsaws at the beginning. Black chick with a bow and arrow. Check, please. I'm into it. I can't even really say anything anymore on it because it's more like, okay, that's cool. Okay, okay, makes sense. Uh, nope, nope. God, there's always something I can say that's bad, and it's not even about her. But we're just gonna keep moving. Um, and then yeah, the tentacles detach. And it when you watch Tremors 5, this is really interesting. The original idea for Tremors 5 was that the baby graboids, the dirt dragons, were going to be the main threat. And the reason that they were such a threat was that Bert has this seismo gear, has the seismo monitors, hooked up to the USGS, all that jazz. But they're so small they don't show up on seismos. And it's really there's a great bits of horror in that original script where you're like, oh no, what's happening? We don't know. There's no graboids. There's no sign. There's no graboid sign showing up. Like, what could it be? Oh no, it's 1,000 fucking mini G's and they're swarming. I love swarms. Steve Wilson loves swarms too. I'm with him on that. Where it's just like when there's so many of something and there's just fucking coming at you. It's so scary and cool. But on that note, when you're watching Tremors 5, you can tell that all of the scenes with the detachable tentacles are like ADR and digital reshoots, which is really funny because they have a physical puppet in the behind the scenes. Like they have a physical tentacle puppet, but they don't ever use it in a way where you're like, that would have been that doesn't was that your original idea or was that just added like after the fact? Was that, oh hey, we got to go back and reshoot this? There's no interaction with any of the primary elements that would make you think, oh, you had this thought the first time through. It's all okay. You were maybe going to go the other way, but you decided against it, and then you were able to come back and just slip it in under the radar. Uh, which I mean, I just hate those detachable tentacles. I like the design, but the detachable is just so fucking dumb. And so you can then tell that this is where the baby graboids, dirt dragons, would have happened more. Where you're like, oh, that's because a detachable tentacle is basically the same thing as the dirt dragon, except dumber, fucking dumber. Um, I'm going through, I'm doing pretty good here. Um, I gotta say, my favorite part of Tremors 5 is Michael and Jamie and their infighting and the way that their rapport and the way they work off of each other. It really shouldn't work. You're thinking, Michael Gross is more of like a classically trained actor, and you've got Jamie Kennedy from the the X Factor, what the fuck, that X show with the pranking, and you're just like, really, these two together? This is what we're doing. This is what we want to make Tremors about. Okay, fuck it, man. Give me another line of that Don Michael Paul cocaine, and let's just run with it. But I like it. I do. I really like it. There's like Bert constantly telling, "Don't call me pops," and there's a great one when it first, "Don't call me pops." Okay, old man. you got him. You got him good. Booyah. Uh, I do. Like I do. Like it's what I said about that. I don't need fixing. You don't need fixing thing. Like it's there. their tete-a-tete, the way they work together is really cool. And I do have to point this one thing out. I saw somebody trying to explain the HK 4191 baffle. Uh, it's a huge mistake. It's a huge fucking mistake. Huge. Somebody, I think it was on Reddit, I saw it, where somebody was trying to say, like, oh, well, they changed the design of the HK91, so now we call it the HK41. And even they were kind of like waffling on that. But that doesn't fucking matter. Because the beginning of the movie, Travis shows up and he's like, oh, I got this. And Bert says, an HK91. So we can't really then turn around and, oh, he's in his cage and he calls it an HK41. Like I said, to hear Michael rattle off his gun names and all that jazz, you're just like, oh, come on. You're even, oh, to Heather, you can't even get your gun name right. Boo! Editing baffle, you fucking suck. Boo. Boo, boo, boo. Uh, and I do have to admit, that is it for good things I found about Tremors 5. I tried. I want that to be known, folks. I tried. I tried my fucking best. And I did. We went through it there. I tried. I tried my best. So let's move on to Tremors 6. I had to take a drink in between here like it's a break. And if anybody's out there, and I don't know if you are, and you want to respond, you can always tell me I'm wrong or push me off into another corner, jump me around. I'm here to chip, chip, chip. Tremor 6, A Cold Day in Hell, is none of those things. I saw somebody else point that out recently where it's like, that title doesn't even make sense because there's the global warming. So it's not even a cold day in hell, it's a lukewarm day in none of it. Not like you can't even call it that it's a cold day because it's getting warmer because we chose to film it in a different spot. And I do have to, I've watched the behind the scenes. I've seen Don Michael Paul's explanation and that they tried to make it look like snow. They tried. All right. And this is what I was saying at the beginning, where it makes no fucking sense that you're drilling for ice cores, ice core samples on an air. Like, if you don't understand that concept, you're digging in a spot with just a full sheet of ice. You shouldn't be digging anywhere that there's snow. Like, it's gonna fuck up your core sample. It should just be a straight sheet of ice, a good 800 feet down. Otherwise, what the fuck you doing? So why is there snow? Why, like, I'm visualizing it in my brain and it's kind of killing me. Okay, nobody had said anything. Cool. So I'm alone. Nobody's here. That's fine. Because I really fucking hate doing this part. I want to talk about something I like, but I gotta finish this. I got to. They tried to make it look like snow. They did. They really tried. They didn't succeed. Kind of. They didn't. They didn't. They didn't. I'm not gonna be that nice. They really didn't. But they tried. I like that they tried to bring perfection back. This is much like the snow. You tried to bring perfection back, but you just didn't. You fucking didn't. Because perfection is not one building. It is a town. Every time we've seen it, it is a town of people, of multiple people, with multiple lifestyles and multiple fucking buildings. And unless you decided to bulldoze everything, Chang's Market is not the only place left standing. You're nuts. That's crazy. It's bullshit. But I appreciate you trying. I mean, Chang's, like, at least the actors committed to wearing heavy winter gear in the snow scene. And they look like they're sweating. You know, I was talking earlier about wanting to film a Tremors movie in the snow and do all that or whatever. They're not even, the CGI breath doesn't even really work with what they're doing. I don't even think there is, now that I say that. Like, it's just, there's no CGI fog in the air even. Which is just like, come on, man. Like, come on. Try just that bit You're getting paid for this. You're getting paid for this, and you fucking suck. I don't want to say that you suck either, because you're all, you're getting paid for it. And you're doing a job. You, you just didn't do it. It's like when I go to a restaurant, and I ask for a steak, and you bring me a hamburger. I like hamburgers, but I ordered a steak. Just saying. I'm not gonna pay for the steak. You're gonna get hamburger prices. All right. Um, but yeah, how the fuck do you bring back perfection and then bulldoze the entire town? And like I said, I'll give the outline, what am I trying to? The layout. I was gonna say outlay. The layout of Chang's kind of works for what we see to Chang's. It's changed so much in different movies. We'll just give that a pass. Just keep on rolling. Uh, and there's a good we have Valerie McKee, because everybody loves being named after their dad like that. But I've always wondered how much that's like a thanks, Dad. It's so great to know that I'm your kid. It's like getting named Junior, but like with your gender mixed up too at the same time. Which, as a trans person, I'm always like, God, that just feels just a little off. Poor Valerie. But Valerie as a Graboid fangirl is really great. I like that. That's a really cool way to do that. And he's more like a weird uncle. I watched Six today and I laughed at that line where oh, your father was the most brilliant underachiever I ever met. He's more like a dad, really, or like a weird uncle. And again, the brilliant underachiever line is, I can tell that's Michael remembering the original script, because it literally says in the original Beneath Perfection script that the description for Val is he's managed to underachieve brilliantly, which is like, oh, the most brilliant underachiever I ever met. Nice one, Michael. You did good there. And yeah, Valerie being a Graboid fangirl is really cool. I love the bit later on where she's got the boots that she got handed down from mom, and they're like near indestructible. It's really like, okay, that's dope. That's pretty fucking cool. What I do have to say, what I fucking hate though, is that like she's the worst kind of exposition, like the worst kind of exposition. And you know what? I come from a long history of loving bad sci-fi movies, and I know what bad exposition is. And Valerie McKee is bad exposition. And even Bert, actually, that was one of my first things, like 4 or 5 years ago when this movie first came out. I remember making a video and putting it up on Vimeo of just that section and being like, "This is the worst exposition I've ever seen in anything." And it's just like even Bert calls it out, where he's like, "You are a treasure trove of graboidology myths, but like, what the fuck are you telling me, the guy that knows everything about graboids?" I hated her until they brought her backstory in. Yeah, it works a little bit, like I said, and you can understand why she won't shut up about graboids to Burt Gummer, because you're getting your first chance to talk to Burt Gummer, and you want to be like, you want to let him know that you know everything about graboids and that you're really cool and you guys should be friends because like you know so much about graboids. It's so cool. Although I find it odd that she's like, all right, I can give you the 411 on their morphological subspecies, the ass blaster, Mexicana combustus, and I'm always like, so we're just gonna skip over the shrieker stage then, I guess. I mean, your dad wasn't there for ass blaster, so I don't know why you know that one so well. Unless you just want to say ass blaster over and over again, which everybody wants to say ass blaster over and over again. But where's the shrieker? Where's the shrieker? You don't know the morphological name of that? Huh? Huh? But yeah, I don't mind it. And, and it's dumb, but like, oh wait, hold on, wait, I missed that. Oh, and on this note, with Valerie, I don't mind Travis taking up the Gummer mantle when he comes out and he get like what I said earlier about giving that whole speech about, do you know any graboid hunters? No, I know a bunch of Bigfoot hunters, but I don't know any graboid hunters. And teach me, Rosetta Stone me, dog. You got some big shoes to fill, size 11. I've seen you in the locker room. All the penis trading talk gets a little weird sometimes with those two, like father and son. They're like, oh, okay, if you were brothers, that would, or partners, that would work a little better. But stop saying that shit to your dad, bro. Kind of fucked up. But Travis trying to take on the governmental is really cool. And that actually leads to one of my favorite scenes in six when Travis literally gets Bert's things and puts on the vest and, all right, soldier, we got FOB, HRG, LMNOP, QRS, and the TOV. If you got ass blasters, you got grandboys. It's so dumb, but so stupid, and I love it. I was looking for my Burt Gummer glass. Where are they at? Oh, come on. Wait a minute. I'll find them somewhere as I'm sitting here. They'll show up. Like, I have the hat, but I need my Gummer. Damn it. Where are my Gummer glasses? Oh, they're sitting around here somewhere. You should probably use them for something. I'm gonna leave the hat on. I like this hat, and it's really cool. Like I said, I don't. I everybody else hates Jamie Kennedy, Zoran Gavojcic. If you're listening to this, I get it. Jamie Kennedy sucks. We could do with worse. We could have Tom Cruise in The Mummy. Just saying. Which is a failure. Just as a point of fact, that movie does fucking suck. um, and it may be a repeat, but I like that lady pilot. I know that she's literally that guy from the South Africa movie, but a lady, and in Canada. Sometimes I don't care. It's like I like it. I don't know. It's dumb. That's the kind of schlocky goodness I'm into, where you're having fun with it, and that's the biggest strength about Tremor Six is that there's a whole bunch of fun. A lot of people having fun in this. The cast is having fun. Um, I will always put this man's name in all caps. Swackhammer. My name's Swackhammer, and that's Rob Van Gruen, who's actually he's a Norwegian comedian, and it makes a lot of sense for why he's as funny as he is and why that character works so well. But yeah, my name's Swackhammer, and I'm just here to be awesome and cool and drop one-liners, and also be like, yeah, I got bombs like Burt Gummer does in the first movie, but I'm totally different. Badass. Swackhammer. I do love him. I do have to say this though. That fucking filter. The filters in this and then Tremor 7, I'm always like, am I watching an episode of Stargate where we're on a different planet that's somehow magically blue? Magically blue planet. I've been to Canada. It's not blue. I've never been to Thailand, but I assume it's not green. All the fucking place. It's so dumb. I get it, Don Michael Paul. You were trying to make snow happen. Go to a different fucking place, man. Oh, but you didn't have drugs to run to Canada. If you know what I mean. The DARPA bait and switch is actually pretty good, and I think that it shouldn't have been a fake out. I think that that's one that we should have maybe committed to in terms of like, oh no, they were here. Like maybe they didn't come there with the purpose of using graboids. And they do this at the end of the movie where once they find out, then they're gonna do something. But it's like, man, that would have been so cool if they'd been there like in secret, fucking around with graboids. We just didn't know. Oh no, it's just water. Like I'm just here, Mr. Montgomery. I'm here to do a thing, and I'm not. I wish that this voice that I'm doing for that guy was me playing it up. But he had the weirdest fucking lisp. I don't know if it's a lisp or if it's an accent, Mr. Montgomery. But you're in my country now, and in my country, I tell you what. Am I an American or is DAPA an international research station thing? Because the whole thing that I'm doing with my mouth, it sounds like I'm Happy Gilmore. Just tap it in. Just tap it in, Mr. Burkhammer. Just tap your graboid in your ass plaster. But you in my territory now. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. But the DARPA thing should not have been a fake out. It's cool as one. it's even cooler is not as one. Because then it goes back to that thing that I said with the you with the government line, where Bert takes that lady aside, and he is just, as I wrote, 24/7, 365 paranoid. And I love that escalation of Bert being fucking nuts. Cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. But we don't really do anything with it. So that's where the fake out shouldn't have been a fake out. Like if you're not gonna do anything with it, like come on, don't tease me. Jerk me off to completion. And then yeah, because Bert losing his grip, his like mental sanity, is a so much better story than there's Ice Boys. I literally wrote Ice Boys because I didn't know like Ice Boys. Like, man, that's all right. Burt Gummer, just way better story. That should have just been like the focus of the piece. I mean, it's fun and all that or whatever, but like, yeah, Bert losing his shit would have been that's so cool. But unfortunately, not completed, not realized as well as it could have been. If you've never watched Silicon Valley, I kind of feel like Guilfoyle when I'm talking about these things. And yet you did not. So here we are again with your shitty characterization. Thank you. Again, I don't. I'm gonna pin for a second here. I do think that there are certain cases in today's pop cultural landscape where people are whiny bitches, and it's why I wanted to do this good things episode to explore, because let's use Star Wars as an example. Actually, I don't personally care for Star Wars, right? I've said this before. It's not my jam, not my thing, all right? And I really do think that a lot of Star Wars fans are whiny bitches. I think that they get a great I'll roll that back. They get a nice slate of movies and TV shows, and yet, Mark Hamill doesn't want to do Luke Skywalker anymore. And they killed him, and they killed my hero, and they did it in the worst way. And it's just like, I mean, guys, like at least with him, that was his choice. Michael Gross didn't choose this ending that we're going to end up talking about, that I've talked about a million times before. Like that was forced on him. They went like, no, 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 we're done with you. We don't care. At least Mark Hamill got to be like, I want out. At least Harrison Ford got to be like, I want out. Carrie Fisher died, but she was also like, hey, I want out. I don't really want to do this anymore. I hate you guys. I hate Star Wars fans. I hate you. Please, can we stop? And I do, and I want to say that I think Star Wars fans are whiny little bitches because they don't like Kathleen Kennedy, and I mean, and I don't really know her, but I think she's, if anything, my bigger complaint with her is probably Jurassic Park stuff. But even that's like that I gotta definitely put more on the directors and story. Like it's yeah. But like yeah, Star Wars fans, you guys can eat a dick because at least your hero, like your those people wanted out. They chose that way out. Michael Gross carried this franchise, and Universal just put two fingers up and was like, "No, we don't care, Michael. We're gonna reboot everything without you. Fuck off. Stop telling us how to make Tremors." I don't know why I'm using a Steve voice for like. Stop telling us how to make Tremors, Michael. We know what we're doing. We're Hollywooders. Yeah, um, yeah, I want it to be known. I'm not trying to bitch out of hand here with these things. There's a hey, this is what we were doing before, and now we've just made an entirely different thing. What the fuck are we doing? That is my whole angle with all of this. Um, yeah. Because this is what I was saying with the monkey's wedding thing and the worms thing in the first movie. That one guy, he's constantly drinking his monsters, and they show him all the time. He just And he's back there and he's drinking it. He's just drinking them all the time. And then finally he needs to do his piss thing. And like I've said this before, I can't say that's one idea that I always had where it's like, it's such a they hunt by vibration. Somebody take a piss over there and it'll distract him and you'll be able to do it. The thing that I've come to not like though, I think Conan was the one that pointed this out, where it's like he says don't look and then we make a joke about his penis literally 5 seconds later with the girl looking through a sniper scope. Fucking so out of taste and weird. Ugh. Ugh. Just ugh. Ugh. And on that note too, Burt Gummer's new obsession with balls is just. I was watching a video today of him, one of the extra videos that they did for Tremor 6, and he was talking about grit, and it's like, look between your legs. Do you see that space that is there? Well, you shouldn't, because that's where your cojones should be. And I was like, so do you just not have female fans of Tremors? That's kind of a pun intended dick move. Like fuck you, man. And even Michael, like there's this look on his face where he's like, they're making me say these, and I hate it. And which is kind of funny because then he got his chance to write the ones he wanted with Tremor 7 with that Burt Gummer for excuse me, double excuse me, with that Burt Gummer for president thing. Like he's like, I'm not writing that bullshit. We're not doing that again. But yeah, Burt Gummer's new obsession with balls, and again, even at the end of this one where he's talking with Travis about that's some broke dick 22. You didn't even get maximum penetration. You're like, like you ruined the joke, man. Come on. The penetration joke is supposed to be subtle. You're not like because it's funny when it's funny when it's subtle. Like Reba totally does that one at the I go for penetration. Oh, I bet you would. I bet you would. You didn't even get penetration with the elephant gun. Shit. It's good. It's when it's subtle, it's good. When you're just literally like, your dick didn't insert into the vagina with your penetration enough. Oh, you're just like, dumb. But anyway. So this is something I do like. I love the graboid dirt effect. The it's pipeline blasting. That's all it is. They put a bunch of fucking explosives in the ground and boom, 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 and it blows it up. And it's so fucking cool. It really is. Especially if you're gonna have the graboid be bigger and better. Like fucking zooms through. I love that. And hilariously enough, that actually they were doing that in the Tremors TV show already. Like that was the very first 5 minutes they have the pipeline blasting effect. Although I kind of am with that one a little bit more because it shouldn't be like, it should just be a little like, but it's cool. We'll buy it. I'll buy it. We're not gonna hate on it that much, and it looks cool enough that I'll give it a pass. But yeah, that it's well executed. Um, and I had this laugh a lot where as much as Universal wants to disavow the sequels, like they told Andrew Miller and Vincenzo Natali and Kevin Bacon when they were making that pilot, don't reference the sequels. You can only reference the first movie. They reference Tremors 2 a lot. Like a lot. And I'm always just kind of like it's what I said. I said this earlier. Where it's like it seems like a lot of Burt Gummer fans only watch Tremors 2, and they didn't even watch one. They just got up to 2, and that's as far as they go. And I think Universal only did 2, where they just like, oh yeah, that's as far. Like that's such a cool Burt Gummer, and it's really odd to me that they continually reference Tremors 2 the most out of all the sequels. You'd think they'd reference 3 more, honestly. Um, and this is really cool. This is my thing about Tremors, and I'm actually in this sequel to my Tremors movie that I'm making. This is actually the grander point that I want to make is that we try to save everyone. even the bad guys. And I love that about six. That DARPA dude is up on that shipping container, and Travis is like, I gotta save him, don't I? And it's like, well, yeah, it would be the good thing to do. But it's like in Tremors, we should always be trying to like. Ooh, hold on. Ah, my chair's doing weird things. Boop. Ah, there we go. We should always try to save everyone. Maybe we don't succeed all the time. I get that. People die. But we do. Everybody's important. And we try to save everyone. Because that's just the human thing to do. That's such a cooler story in the end than just like there's just completely evil bad guys and they have to be destroyed and killed. Which there are. I'm not gonna like there are I have other ideas for Tremor stuff where it's like we should have at least one really bad guy. Like that's just like they make bad things happen and they know that they're making bad things happen and they're just doing it for the money. Not even a Melvin style like trying to just make a better life. No, no, no. Like they're bad guys and they just want money and they're just gonna do whatever they can to get it. And it's like that motherfucker we can let die. Or not let we just won't save them. How about that? I always go back to one of my favorite things about the mummy. And where did that come from? But there's a point to this. One of my favorite things about the Mummy movie is that there's Benny, and Benny is such a dick through the whole fucking movie, fucking over O'Connell, doing everything, and yet in the very last moments, O'Connell is, come on, Benny, come on, 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 like trying to get him and save his life, even like after everything that Benny did to Rick, he still tries to save him, and even as a kid, I will say that part of that story has always stuck in my mind, and it will forever, I think, because it is so cool. I don't like. I think I was yeah cool. I'm gonna stick with cool when it comes to that when it comes to naming that. It is so cool. They're like yeah, that's what a real hero does. Like you don't just let people die. You do try to save them. If you can't, we're not gonna blame you. It's not like we blame Rick because he can't save Benny. And then there's that great bye bye Benny. Like son of a bitch, and you feel and it hurts and blah. And I love that. In I have that as my note for Tremor 7. I love that Richard Brake is a total d bag during that whole movie, and yet when he goes down, Burt Gummer reaches and grabs him and fucking come on. And even before that point, he's trying to like come with me, Bill. Like everybody else is dead. You're just gonna die. Like let's go, man. It's it's so cool. It is. It is really not just cool, refreshing. That's always my like we save the bad guys. That's what separates heroes. It's not I've always kind of disagreed with Batman on that. Oh, what separates me from the bad guys is I don't kill people. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that just seems like a regular person. It's not neither a good or a bad guy. That's just I don't kill anybody. Welcome to the baseline for being a human being, Bruce. Duh. But trying to save the bad guy is great. Although I do love that in the Batman Begins. I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either. It's so cool. That's cool too. I know dichotomies. I like both. I don't care because that one works for the story. It makes sense. But in Tremors, we try to save the bad guys. We try. We try. Um, and I can't even. The practical graboid is a plus, but it does. That practical graboid at the end still looks like CGI for some reason. I don't really understand how that works, but it totally looks like it's CGI. Like it even then. Um, oh my god, I didn't even have. So I was talking about Valerie. I have my complaints now, so I'm gonna get these out before moving on to the next bit. Uh, Valerie was having that bit of exposition in the beginning where she's trying to impress Bert and say all that or whatever. Why don't you mention your fucking parents? It seems like that's an instant checkaroony. My mom is Rhonda Lebeck and my dad is Val McKee. Oh, okay, I'm gonna listen to you then. Boom. Can I come? There, you know what? There is no practical graboid in 7, Conan. There's no practical graboid in 7. None. Oh, okay, I can't say that. There's that one that's dead that the Shriekers come out of, which also doesn't make sense because that body is an original graboid body, but it's supposed to be uh the new one. Oh, I was talking about the end of 6, Conan, where when Travis is going inside of the mouth of the graboid and he's doing the gland or whatever. I know it's practical. I can see it's practical. It's still like they still made it look CGI for some reason. I don't know. Like I think it's overproduced. I think the way that the physical model is made, they just overproduced it, and so it just doesn't come out looking like a real thing. Um, but yeah, Valerie, why didn't you mention your parents? You can literally see the heat waves in Canada, and you can't just shoot an ass blaster and it blows up. That's not like they go through a whole thing in Tremors 3 of trying to make something that lights on fire that you shoot it with, and then that fire will ignite the chemicals in it. You can't just pew, 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 and it shoots and blows up. That's not how physics works. It would make a hole, and if those liquids trickle down onto a fire, then it would explode. If Bert had tracer rounds, actually tracer, maybe he does. No, no, that's a bit of a waste, especially in the daylight hours. I doubt Bert has tracer. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Let's roll that back. But unless you have tracer rounds, you're not gonna blow up an ass blaster in midair. It just looks cool, and rule of cool is not a reason to fucking do anything. Not like that. Not after. Not, I guess that's my problem with this, is that we have this 30 years of Tremors, Graboid, Shrieker, Ass Blaster lore that has been built up and worked on. And if you wanted to do all this stuff with a new thing, to ignore that is just like you're making me think that the things that have happened in the last 5 years are more important than the things that have happened in the last 30. And that math you're just not going to work out. Why are you making these movies in the first place if the first 30 years weren't something? What the fuck are you doing? It's just dumb. It is dumb. Like, and there's these little plot things that they're like, were you thinking about this all the way through? There's a whole thing in Tremors 5 where Burt Gummer doesn't know the customs law in South Africa, and he doesn't get his guns because he doesn't know customs law. And that's after having like what I was saying with Michael knowing guns and all that, and Burt Gummer being up on his shit. He doesn't really. It's contrived. I barely buy this in the first place. But and then it's made even worse by then in Tremor 6. Burt Gummer literally had, have you filled out the requisite RCMP 5190 form for bringing that firearm into Canada? So you know how to customs law bring a gun into Canada, but you don't know how to bring one into South Africa. You've never been to Canada, Bert. And on that note, Burt Gummer says in Tremors 5 that he has contained graboids to the Northern Hemisphere, but he literally went down to Argentina with an anti-aircraft gun to shoot shriekers. That's not the Northern Hemisphere. You could have said the Western Hemisphere. Boom. Done. Fine. But you didn't. So now I hate you. And they even show when they're doing the map of the Northern Hemisphere, it's like they show the Nevada area of America, and then they show Mexico, and they like light it up to be like, oh, this is where. And I saw that today. I was like, where's the little spot with Argentina? Boop. No, we're just not gonna do that. Fuck you. Fuck you, movies. Fuck you. And even more so on that, this is my last. Burt Gummer has fought graboids, shriekers, and ass blasters on 3 different continents. Not 2. North America, South America, and Africa. Those are 3 different continents. 3. 3. I don't blame you, Michael. It's not your fault. I get it. But yeah, Tremor 6, they have fun. Swackhammer's the best. Uh, they're all just snorting down Michael Paul's cocaine. Good idea. I don't blame them. Moving on to Tremor 7. I can do this. I can do this. I'm powering through. I can do this. I'm gonna start this off with my biggest complaint about this movie is that it should be two movies, and that's not me saying, "Oh, I want more." I mean, I do want more Tremors movies. It's me saying that you have two separately great ideas that when you mash them together, they lose their potency. And I think a graboid hunt gone wrong is a great idea for a movie by itself. We make enough fucking predator references in this movie that like let's just make that the movie. Richard Brake takes a bunch of people to an island and they're all Silicon Valley types trying to hunt and shit. And let's flesh out these characters. Let's make them real people rather than just fodder. And that's a great movie. I was telling Caitlin this before I started today, where there's a great line where Richard or Bill is talking to Jasmine about, hunting is my passion. Because when you got wealth, nothing means a damn. The only currency that matters is life and death. And it's just like there, boom. All right, there's your theme of the movie. That's it. Oh wait, we're doing this Burt Gummer thing now. Okay. Are you sure? Like that, like you had it there. Like you could have had this whole like, oh, you're a bunch of cocky Silicon Valley types that go out hunting and then have a great slow turn to the end with Richard Brake in the Arnold Schwarzenegger role if you're doing the Predator thing, where he's slowly learning that going out to hunting a super predator species is the dumbest idea in the world, and he just got a whole bunch of people killed, and he's got to live with that. Let him live at the end of the movie knowing that he got every single one of those people killed. That's check, please. There's your movie. There's what I was saying too with like this whole like if we're trying to make Tremors more scary, boom, take Burt Gummer out of it because he de-escalates the fear factor and just have this group of people who thinks that they're hunting graboids, but then they turn into shriekers and they've got to deal with that. And it just, boom, fucking scary ass, brilliant movie. Take my ticket and I stop having complaints about Tremor 7. Done. And because on that, Richard Brake is the coolest fucking villain in all of Tremors history. Like, and that is a hands down, write the check. Richard Brake kicks so much ass in this. He's so cool. He's got great lines. He's got a great demeanor, great personality. Just this guy should have. This should have been the movie. This should have been the focus of the movie. It's not. Ugh. Yeah, should have been the focus of the movie. 'Cause I love him. I have it. They do a great can callback to Tremors 4 and Tremors 2, where they have the cans on the sticks at the beginning, and it really makes me think of Richard Brake as that Black Hand Kelly type. If we actually followed him for the whole story, if we followed Black Hand Kelly for the entire movie. What an interesting thing that is. That's one of my favorite parts of Tremors 4 is Billy Drago as Black Hand Kelly. Why don't we just do this? This is great. This is great shit. And who told them to set those up? Who told them how to do the cans thing? Oh, you must have like learned it and read about it. Really interesting, really cool. God, I wish that could have been the movie. And Tremor 7 is really pretty. I'm not. It's not me being facetious. It is. It is really, really beautiful, and that's not even like the location. It the colors in it, and again, not that filter when they're on that dark island, and that green filter is just kind of overrides things a lot. The only time it works is when they have the flamethrowers and there's this brilliant orange red mixed in with the green, and it's just breathtakingly cool. It's so like, yeah, it's off, but the daylight time hours of that movie are really just breathtaking to behold. I really do like it's. I'm not going to give props to Don Michael Paul on that because it's called a cinematographer. It's called Thailand. You just turn the camera on, film, done. It's pretty though, but it only goes so fucking far. Um, uh, they call it a lot of times. I love the word usage of the super predator. What you could bring in with that some of that mob guy from the episode of the series, the boss that came in. Oh yeah, because we never did like. Oh, you're talking about Michael Rooker, and yeah, like there's a going hunting. You know, you can. Michael Rooker does have a whole dossier of Burt Gummer quotes and things like that, where it's like the way to hunt graboids is like hunting whales. It's like you even more so what Conan just said. Literally having the boss from that mobster episode like go all the way with that. Oh my god! Imagine Frank coming back for that even just a little bit. It's a little implausible. We can make it work. We can find a way. We can find a way. Because again, the mob boss would have a bunch of money, so why not? You know what? Why not? Why not make that work? Writing it down. Um, yeah, but the calling them super predators is one of my Although when the mega super predator, you already called it a super predator. You don't need to add the mega to it. Come on, man. Just don't. You're being redundant, and we hate you. Stop it. Uh, Still cool though, because they are. Graboids are scary. Super predators. Don't fuck around with them. And the smell is back. The smell, which we have lost for two movies. There's the smell in four, so they do have the smell in four. And it's not 100% referenced in the TV show, but the smell of graboids is back. When you have Jimmy throwing up, I love that. I love me the smell of some shitty ass graboids. It's a tiny, tiny detail, but it is really cool to do more of, to do more with. Um, and then, so here's the if we have Richard Brake doing the Predator thing, that's a great movie in and of itself. But then your other movie that you just make another movie of is you have the research team who's just like, oh, we're just a happy little go lucky research team. Oh, but then graboids attack. Well, we need to call in Burt Gummer. That's cool. That's a cool movie in and of itself. That's a cool idea. It's Ron Swanson says that thing. Don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. You're half-assing two things here. Please just get rid of one idea, whole-ass it, come back, do another idea, and whole-ass that one because that's cool. Um, and on that smell thing, John Heater is really good in this movie. I really don't mind John Heater. You'd think that like with Jamie Kennedy that he's just shitty and no. John Heater can act a little bit. And I'll give it that. When the guy dies, when Ishii dies, and he's on the boat, he's like, I tried to save him, yes, and I just couldn't. I don't know, man. I feel that. I really do. I'm not even like let's not even smoke up his ass. Like John Heater was bringing it. He felt that guy die, and there was pain there. I felt that pain. It's dumb, but I'm talking about the good things, and that was one of them. Although John Heater sucks at pretending to be hungover, that's just not good. I don't know who gave him direction on that, but that must have been first day of filming because it was just not. Um, um, God damn it! Like I said, I'm trying to focus on good things here. Okay, well, I'll tie these couple in together. Edwin's not here, but when you re listen back or whatever, you were right about that one token Asian girl having one line. She does have one line. This guy can't be real. I mean, it's a line. And they're still fucking basically token black guy and token Asian girl. but she technically does have one line. You were right about that. Still dumb, but you were right, Edwin. Uh, and then, even without his guns, Burt Gummer is a badass. Like, the fact that he put together that whole island, or like everything that he had, like stringing fish up and traps, and like he could have easily lived out there. He was all fine by himself. He didn't need any help. He was doing pretty good. Burt Gummer is a badass in that sense. Sorry, I had to check my power, make sure I wasn't gonna die in there. Um, yeah, Burt Gummer, even without his guns, is a badass. And I've said this on lots of other episodes where it makes no sense that he doesn't have his guns, but it doesn't matter. Still a badass all the time. Mm. And then and then again, with the Burt Gummer suffering from the post-traumatic graboid disorder, there's your hook for that research team trying to get him back movie. Like, but he doesn't want to. Like that, the whole like, oh, I came to this island because of a sewer issue. I don't buy that. Like you're literally talking in the TV show about digging a well for the town. So like the idea of communal living isn't that far off base for you. You do understand this. But you running away because you don't want to deal with graboids anymore because they scare the fuck out of you, that's a story. That's reality. Would have been cool. Just saying. Would have been cool. Um, and this is what I said before, where Bill's motive for hunting the graboids is sound. He has a whole bunch of money. He doesn't know what to do with it, but he knows that hunting something bigger and badder and more dangerous than he is lets him know his place in the food chain. And it's really, that's so cool. That's where I want, I literally have the note, I want these Silicon Valley fuckheads fleshed out. Because that would have been cooler. So this where that movie where we follow them and only them, and we find out these people and we live a little bit more with them. That's so much better than just like, oh, they're fodder and they die. They're literally called in the script like bow tie and mohawk and like glasses, and you're just like, this is reductive. Holy shit, man! Like this is this is it. That's really sad. Like that's as far as you decided to make these people was what was the physical thing that they're wearing. Ugh, gross. Like gross. And and then Anna and Bill's relationship is actually pretty good. I do love those two together. The way that Cassie Clare and Richard Brake work together, where she's got that fear, and again, that works better when you flesh out that other movie. Like she doesn't, she's here because she's done so many other hunts with him, but this is the one where you're like, man, are we sure about this, Bill? Are we really sure about this? And oh no, we weren't sure about this. Like that's your story, man. That's your uh Dylan and Dutch angle. You know, if like I'm gonna use Predator because it's right there. Like that's the hook. That's I'm into that. I'm into that. But you don't do much with it, so I can't love it too much. Um, and I so many of these notes are this is better with it as a B plot. Like this B plot is so much better as just an A plot instead. Burt Gummer and then Jasmine and is there? They don't even give her a last name. I want it's Miss. Is it Welker? Honestly, shit. That's my bad, guys. Should have researched that. I hope she has a last name. Uh, it should be Welker's, but Bert and Jasmine getting together like that, seeing each other for the first time in 30 years, and even if Travis wasn't there, like them like having to deal with their issues and their emotions, that's fucking good. So when people talk about that a lot, where they're like, why don't if Reba comes back, it's a great story angle to have her be better at graboid hunting than he is, and like trying to like, why did you get divorced? What are these feelings that you have for each other, and sussing them out while you're also dealing with an extra preternatural threat. So much cooler than just like kind of we slip a few lines in here and there. It's a much better movie than just by its fucking self. And then on that note, so Burt Gummer has literally had a vest. Literally. And I do mean this literally. He has a vest in every single Tremors movie and TV show. Caitlin and I joke we're always talking about his vest choices in Tremors the series because he has three vests. He's got his like regular vest, he's got his tactical vest, and then he's got his game go vest, which almost looks like it's bulletproof or whatever. And they're different colors. There's a tan one, a green one, and a black one. And Burt Gummer in his vest, man. Like when shit's going down, he's ready to vest up. And the fact that Burt Gummer dies in a movie and he's not wearing a vest is a personal like, it's almost worse than the hat. Where it's like, oh, that Cubs hat is just terrible. Who's this guy that died that was wearing a Cubs hat? I don't know. I've never seen anyone in the other movies wearing a Cubs hat. I saw a guy wearing an Atlanta Hawks hat, but never a Cubs hat. Just saying. But no vest on Burt Gummer really kills me. It's these little details that hurt. They hurt my soul. I look like Ernest. I just got that. Ernest P. Worrell. You know what I mean, Vern? When Burt Gummer wasn't wearing his vest? Don't you know? Don't you know, Vern? uh, and then Burt Gummer, when he's not swearing, has some great lines. There's one, there's a great call and response where you should get a different gun. You should get a different gun than that 40850. Again, I don't know gun names. Please forgive me. It's like spitting at Godzilla, and that Burt has a prescience of mind to know what Godzilla is, and that doesn't even seem out of character. That seems like by that point he would just have learned what Godzilla is from being like, maybe these movies and TV shows are telling me something I don't understand, and I need to watch them to study up on the threat. And Burt learned about Godzilla, and then there's a great response back then later in the movie where Anna says, and there's the Queen Graboid, and she's Godzilla big, and it feels a little more lazy. But I love Burt. Burt's always he's popping them. Um, but he swears a bit too much. Like that one line he has, or that ass clown's a skid mark on our collective underwear. You're just kind of like, all right, moving on. Um, and then yeah, this is my biggest complaint. If there wasn't 30 years of history, these creature encounters would be terrifying. But like we know what's gonna happen. Every time Burt comes in, almost it drops that threat level down. And we know what's happening and we're not afraid. It's what Tremors 4 does a great thing of where it's like these people don't know what graboids are, so they're having to deal with them, respond to them in different ways, figure out the rules. When you have a guy that knows all the rules, it just like man, drops that threat level down. And then yeah, the flamethrower scene looks stunning. And there's another good the foamic acid killing the trees is nice. That's pretty good. I don't know. Again, there's so many of these little things where like, man, was somebody thinking? You it seemed like you were. It seems like you were for some plot things, but you didn't think it all the way through. But the foamic acid killing the trees is a really great. Okay, okay, I like that. Okay. Watch out for dead tree areas. I actually used that when I made my Tremors movie because there was a spot in the cornfield that was all destroyed or whatever, and I had a whole like, oh, the foamic acid like killed it and made it do that. Ooh, it's really cool. Um, and again, Baby Fark McGee's ex. If he doesn't ever listen to these, I'm pretty sure. But calling out Burt Gummer Day, he's not just a superhero; he's a legend in some circles. There's actually a Burt Gummer Day. Yes, there fucking is. Yeah, there's a Burt Gummer Day, and we're not gonna pay the guy that came up with that. I actually liked his hat change because he never actually referred to the team like he just wears caps and had the same hat for like. I, okay. I'll here's my thoughts on that, Conan. They talk about when they were choosing a hat, that was just a good hat. Like they were choosing a light colored hat, and that's the one that worked. And I'll live in a world where Burt Gummer has just the same hat because it's just a hat to him. When Burt Gummer literally has five different versions of the same hat, then I start to question whether it was just a hat or if there was something else involved. Because this, like, seriously, look it up. I mean this. Go look it up. Burt Gummer has 5 different versions of this hat, and I don't mean they're like just a little change. There's this one, which is from the first movie. There's the second one, which is a white hat. There's the third one, which is a white hat with a red brim. There's Tremors the series, which is more like this hat, but with smaller lettering. And then there's Tremors 5, which is a white with a red full band on it. You can't continually buy 11 different versions of one team's hat and tell me that it was just the hat. Like I just that's you, like because in my mind with what you just said, Conan, I'm so on board if like he just has the same fucking hat like over and over and over and over and over again because he just doesn't want it like it's just this ratty ass hat that he always has. Maybe they were gifts. Well, then if they were gifts though, and he liked them that much, like because you say practical thrifters, I'm that way, man. Man, I'll get a hat, and it's my hat. I don't ever change the hat. It's a great hat. I fucking love a nice hat. Somebody gets me a good hat, I'm into it. When it comes to a sports team, that person gifting him the hats has to be like, well, you like the Atlanta Hawks, and you what did. Burton never complained about it at all. Like, and that's you can't even say, well, maybe that hat design was really good because the red ones and with the white on it are totally different construction even like and it's like that I mean how does that fit your head, is that going all right for what you're doing, and it's just just a level of unbelievable. I don't even, I guess not unbelievable. No, I know it's a thing that happens. That's what I was trying to bring up. Like I usually have a bunch of hats around here. Hold on. So my hats. I like my straw hats. And then like I have a whole bunch. I've got more downstairs too. But I always love my straw hats. I'm a huge straw hat person. And people get them for me all the time because they see me wearing straw hats. Actually, no one's got me hats. I buy hats. What am I talking about here? Um, and it's not. I guess it's not so much that, and especially with this seventh movie, when we end on the image, when this seventh movie ends, and the last image that we're supposed to see of Burt Gummer is a hat on a cross, the average viewer, and even fans of Burt Gummer, the above average viewer, is gonna and is looks at that cross with the hat and is like, why is there a Cubs hat on that grave? Who's the guy with the Cubs hat that died? Who is that? I don't recognize, like, because this like Tremors 6 and missed that explanation, which is the only other movie before that. You'd be like, why is that? Like, there's that one Cubs hat in that. What? That doesn't make any sense. The only time I've seen Burt Gummer is he's wearing an Atlanta Hawks hat. To the point where people make fun of, like, that's, I always see that, like, why does he have that hat? Why does he always have that hat? Melvin, even in the third movie, and I hate that hat. That's how he ends the third movie. Like, literally, I hate that hat. Like, and for the final image that we're supposed to get of Burt Gummer is a Cubs hat on a grave, the symbolic imagery doesn't line up to everything else that we'd seen before. If you're trying to evoke the sense of like, all right, Burt Gummer's died, that's the end, the Cubs hat doesn't do it. It doesn't give you that. Like and I'm not even trying to say that as me being the super fan that I am. It's if anybody, the average viewer watching that knows that that Atlanta Hawks hat is tied to the character of Burt Gummer, you're gonna be like, who died? Who died? You don't know who died. I was talking with the TikTok graboid about this, where you're just like, you see that and you're like, who died? I don't know. Was there some guy with a Cubs hat in the movie? Like, what happened? It doesn't give you the same feelings inside. If I was better at Photoshop, that's one I would do, where I would try to Photoshop out that Cubs hat with the Atlanta Hawks hat to show there's a symbolic difference that makes the feelings well up inside you, as opposed to that hat that they have at the end. And then even more so, then when they're showing, like the montage at the end, he's wearing fucking Atlanta Hawks hats for every single one that they use of him. So you're just kind of like, mixed messaging. I get what you're saying, Conan, where it's like, you get a gift in real life and you're trying to be practical and you're not going to trade it out or anything. With movies and that imagery and that thing that you're trying, the symbolicness of it, it's a little harder to buy that's where we end. You're just like, huh? Okay. Thrifty, practical, real life. I mean, I get you. When we're making movies, there's a level we reach a little bit higher for that. Um, and then yeah, uh, I said this earlier with Burt Gummer's line: "No one wins against these things. You have no winning, just surviving." And changing the hat is funny for Tremor 6. Like, I'm with you on that. Where I do love the way. You change teams? No! Just hats! And it's like, it's fun. I do kind of buy it. I like that. Him being so upset that people are focused on his hat. He's just like, no! Just hats! But to end the character, Burt Gummer, it just doesn't sit right. And it's not the only thing about that. Does that. Um, and were you saying that to the no winning, just surviving? Nobody. It's true, man. Nobody wins. We just survive. We live another day. We do what we can with what we got. That's part of it. And again, we said this at the beginning, where I have friends at work who overanalyze every clothing choice I've made. So here's where I have to be. I'm gonna be me and be 100% completely honest about this. Uh, I don't believe in changing your clothes every day. I have for the podcast, and I wear a different outfit for every episode, but in reality, if I had I literally will wear the same piece of clothing for a week. Especially jeans. I will wear a pair of jeans for like 2 weeks before I wash them. And I get dirty in them too, man. I work construction and I work in a kitchen. Like, I get dirty with shit and I just don't care, man. Like, they're clothes on my body. Fuck off. Uh Currently right now I always have a pair of leggings on underneath my regular pants, and I never change out my leggings. Just like, no, like, see, I got two here. It's like I never change them out because, you know what? It's good as long as I'm not like shitting in them. I'm pretty good. I sweat too much for that, though. I do wear the same track pants for 2 to 3 days. It's the same thing. So I guess in the summertime I can't say that I do it for that long because, again, I'll sweat through a pair of. If you watch the podcast enough, you'll see my sweat stains in things, especially in my. Oh wait, yeah, there's one. Booyah, booyah. Um, I do. I will sweat through things, and I'll try to ride that until I get like, oh, okay, whew. All right, that smells too much. You're right, maybe 2 or 3 days out of it, but I guess that's the autism in me, where I'm just like, I don't care, man. Let me wear my clothes. Fuck off. Eat shit and die. And that's where I get with Burt Gummer on that. No, I didn't change teams. Just hats. Symbolic imagery aside. um, they're just clothes, people. Whatever. There's a great line at the end of 7 with Val and Earl, couple of guys I used to know. Jesus Christ, we have just gone through 7 movies and a TV show, and we got our first reference to Val and Earl. We got one in six, and technically Earl is in two. But finally, Val and Earl, a couple of guys I used to know. But we're just gonna sort of half-ass this like whole clip thing, which I go back and forth on that one too, like because I know exactly what Universal is doing, and I've talked with people, and I know that they're not ending Tremors. So it's like you didn't, if you wanted to be cyclical about it, that's great. But like Bert didn't do the cliff thing at the end, Val did. So like it's just trying to talk about the good things. Gonna move on. and uh, good use. Oh Jesus. Oh yeah. I, I said good use of the predator motif, where they're doing the thing with the caves and they're putting the mud on. Like that's cool. All right. Uh, yeah, I give you that. Someone finally thought about it for a Tremors movie. Um, but then on that note, I do I hate how the movie is called Shrieker Island, and the Shriekers are not the main threat or the largest portion of the movie. We spend most of it with graboids and trying to kill the graboids, and the Shriekers are a grand total of two interactions. Dumb. Call it something else. And the original name was Island Fury. And then they stole the name Shrieker Island from a guy on Twitter, which I'm always like, that's fucking shitty. You stole it and you didn't even really use the Shrieker part of it. Fuck you guys. Dumb. Dumb. I'm trying not to talk about bad things. It's so hard though. We're getting near the end. We can do this. Chugga chugga whoop whoop. Uh, and then I wish that badass slow mo was justified at the end with Bert and the stamping, and then I mean, it feels cool. Does it though? Like you're just like, oh, because you slow mo does that to you, where you get like caught up in it. It's like the fake trailers or epic trailer music even too, where it's like, oh, you get caught up in it. It oh wow, neato. It's not justified at all. Don't even pretend like it is. Cool thing though, Jimmy finally saying, I'm gonna lead. There's not really much in terms of the movie where he's trying to make a point of being a leader. Like they say that at the beginning, like, oh, you should be lead by example and inspiring others, and the all important falling out of the hammock. And he kind of does that just a little. I think the most you get is that scene with the caves and like, oh, let's do the predator thing, and or don't trip over the wire. We wouldn't want to lose that nice figure. It's not enough to justify this level of the story. But Jimmy leading, kind of works. Kind of works. And that finger is glorious. It is. I know it is too. This is Michael Gross just saying "fuck you" to Universal. Like that's not just the graboid. That's Michael having his last stand against Universal. Fuck you. That finger is glorious, though. That's a great gift. Baby Fark has an intergalactic quality thing of that, and that's a great gift. If only it was earned. If only it mattered in the end. I'm getting sad because we're near the end. Um, and then that one Asian chick got nailed in the face with guts, which I appreciate. I mean, not because the Asian chick got nailed. I just appreciate that there's just all this splatter, and one person just got. It's beautiful. It's nasty and it's beautiful. And that's like I can't even like the end of that is shit. I'm not even. We're here. The end of this movie is fucking shit. Shit. They're trying to be all sad and stuff, and it just doesn't work. I said this on other podcasts, other episodes of this podcast, where if that had been Travis there at the end, and you have him yelling out, Pops, Pops. Man, that would have been, oh, God, that would have been so epic. That would have been, that's the end. And then, fuck, man, then you could have ended Tremors. And I'm saying that as the person over here with the Tremors podcast, man, you could have ended it. You could have put a button on that and been done with it for good. You have Jamie Kennedy yelling, Pops, Pops, over top of that canyon. Or John Heater, if you do the Marvel style recast, as I've said before, like, but without it, it's just this guy who met Burt Gummer maybe 12 hours before and is now upset about his death. And is and then I hate that Jimmy is the one to lay the cap at the end. And it's like, oh, so like the lady that had his son and like she's not worthy enough to be the one to end it because she's a woman. That's how I feel about it. Is it's like, oh, she's the woman, so like she only gets the glasses, but we got to give it to the male lead to drop the hat. And it's just like, and I was telling Caitlin this earlier where it would almost be better if it felt like John Heater would take up the next Tremors movie. And I've seen John talk about this where, obviously hopes that that would be true. As you're watching it, though, you're just like, I mean, I know what you guys just did with Travis in Tremor 6, where you just spent the whole movie building him up. John Heater's not coming back. John Heater's going to go the way of Kevin Bacon. And he made one Tremors movie, and now John's out. As much as John Heater would probably love to come back, but I just don't, there's no buying it. No, it was Conan. Just so you know, just so everyone does know, Tremors 7 was written with Jamie Kennedy returning as Travis. But then Universal didn't want to pay Jamie Kennedy basically any money. Like they wanted to pay him less money than Tremors 5, even though they were like, oh, we need you for this. Oh, no, we don't want to pay you, though. We're going to pay you less than you made before you even came on. And so Jamie Kennedy had to walk. And so Tremors 7 was supposed to be with him in it. And it's just, and Michael said that too. They had a whole storyline planned with the trilogy to end out. That's the point of 5 and 6 leading up into 7, the passing of the torch, but we don't get that at all. And it just kind of ends. I'm reminded of It's Always Sunny. We got some crime and then penetration, back to back to the lab, some penetration, crime, penetration, lab. And then the movie just kind of goes on for 90 minutes until it sort of ends. And that's what Tremor 7 feels like to me. We got some graboids, some penetration, back to the Burt, back to the penetration, back to the graboids, penetration. And then it just sort of ends. And on that ending note, I'm going to wrap it up and end here because I did it. And now no one gets to say that I didn't try to think there was some good things about these movies. And my biggest thing is that the reason that I made my Tremors movie, or I wanted to go out and do that, was that I wanted to see what it takes to make one. And how hard that was, what's required, what do we need, how do we do this? And I learned that how are people getting paid millions of dollars to make these Tremors movies, and it has to be millions because you're hiding your numbers for it. You're hiding your budget numbers. You're going to tell everybody your budget numbers for Tremors 1, 2, 3, 4 in the TV show. You're going to tell us all the budget numbers, but you make Tremors 5, 6, and 7, and you only want to release your box office numbers, but you don't want to tell anybody how much it took to make them. I don't believe you that you didn't waste a bunch of millions of dollars doing this. You fucking suck. I know you did. Because I went out there and I made a Tremors movie for $0 and not even me trying to toot my own horn. I can do a better job than you for no money. I know Stampede, and let's take me out. I know Stampede can do a better job than you with no money, with zero money. Anybody watching this, go out and make your own Tremors movie and just fucking do it. And you'll find that like if you paying attention and you're doing everything, honestly, if you watch the other movies, you'll get the ideas for it and like you can make your own Tremors movie for next to nothing. Next to peanuts. It's so easy. The hardest part is coming up with a good story. And then from there, booyahs. Figure out how to put the graboid under the ground, shaboom boom. And it's really fucking not even that hard. I've used leaves. I've used corn. I've used water. Fucking you can hide it, man. That's what's so cool about graboids. That's why Stampede chose to do that, was that you can like save a bunch of money by hiding your monster underneath the dirt. Ah! So for people to have been paid to make these and done such a poor job that I have to go out of my way to make sure that it's like, hey, there's some good things, but your good things are so small in comparison to the bad things that, like, who allowed you to do this? Who let you out of your box to fucking make anything? Go into your cage, Don Michael Paul. Go into your cage universe. You know, I'm tired of shitting on Don Michael Paul because he's just a lovely, friendly neighborhood cocaine addict. God damn it, Universal executives, who gave you any kind of money or permission or free reign to just go make shit? Fuck you. Fuck you. And I do mean that. I guess my ending thought is you can make a better Tremors movie than Universal can. Trust me. Fucking trust me. I've watched all the Tremors fan films. There's one of these people in Britain where they literally change actors midway through because one of their actors got sick and they had to trade him out or whatever. And it's better than I like Tremors 5. It's at least better than Tremors 7. And 6, but you can do better. You can do better than the people who make millions of dollars doing this. So get your butts out there and go make it. Because, please, please, you can do this. You can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not that hard. It's a lot easier than they make it seem. And that's, again, look at, notes. I had copious amounts of notes. Copious. Do it. Just go make it. Go make it. Anybody can. I mean that. Even the dumbest person can make a better Tremors movie than Universal. So on that note, I'm gonna thank a couple people. Thank you, Conan. Thank you, Conan Howard, the Sumerian. It's taken me so long to realize that that's like Conan Howard from Conan the Barbarian. Sorry. That's dumb. Thank you, Edwin, for showing up. Thank you, EGAP98. EGAP98 apparently has a graboid documentary thing people should check out. EGAP98. Go check that out. I need to check that out too. Thank you to Podcasting to Perfection. Thank you, Brett and Hannah Jeffries. Yeah, Ree Howard, creator of Conan. That's what I knew it. Yeah. Thank you to Podcasting Perfection. I love you guys. Thank you, Baby Fark McGeezax. We're talking about Burt Gummer Day. I didn't even want to bring that up as a good thing at the end because they butcher that with the pay your taxes line, like after just having Burt not pay his taxes in the last movie. It's like they literally forget everything. Thank you to We Have Issues podcast with Anthony LaFucci. Fauci. I never know how to say that. And Stephen Wildcard. Thank you to the Sons and Shadows podcast. Jeff and Kevin and Will. Love you guys. Thank you to Matthew Carey. I've heard that you're running a Tremors watch party. I'm usually busy. I haven't gotten to participate in that. Thank you, though, for running that. I imagine all the Tremmies appreciate you. Alicia Pearson, you're always out there and listening. Thank you. Thank you to my mom, too, for this new microphone This isn't the microphone. This is the filter part. Cha cha cha. I appreciate that. Thank you to my dad, Pappy. Thank you to my sister Lacey and Shonday, Chantrell, Samaje, Shamar, and now Sahil. I just had a new nephew born 3 days ago. So booyah. That was Friday. Booyah. Da, 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 da. Always thank you to Steve S.S. Wilson, Brent Maddock, Nancy Roberts, and Ron Underwood of Stampede Entertainment. You guys are the best. Matt Wilson, too. Actually, I've met him recently. Been a great guy. And Michelle Wilson. Thank you, guys. Uh, Fuck you, Glenn Maddock. You don't get a thank you. You suck, and you need to stop being mean to Tremors fans the world over. Seriously, you don't know Conan. Dick. Fucking dick. And I've had him on his podcast. And I didn't realize he was a dick then, and I'm so mad that I didn't grill his ass more. Dick. And we try to save everyone in Tremors, but some people are just after the money. And that would be old Glenn Maddock. Fucking pushing out his own brother and shit. Makes me so mad. Uh, Going through my names. God, I always feel like, oh, hey, thank you, TikTok Graboid, for the last episode. Daniel Trujillo, love you, bro. Much appreciate. Oh, thank you to the Tremor Saga people. Thank you for letting me use your YouTube channel. This is much appreciate. Thanks for retweeting and letting people know that I'm out here doing this. I try not to fuck up your channel too much. Please forgive me. Uh, I'm sorry. Da, da, God, I feel there's always one more in the brain there, and as soon as I end, I'll think of it. Um, no, no, I think as I always like to end. Thank you to my wife, Caitlin, for supporting me, making all this happen. I honestly assume she's viewer number two. So if you're there, viewer number two, because it's Conan, and then there has to be one other person that's been here the whole time. I assume that's you, Caitlin. I love you. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, thank you, me. I'm. Oh, I didn't even say my name during this. I don't exist. You don't know who I am. What's my name? I'm not even gonna say it. Oh my god, I usually open with my name, but you know what? I don't have a name. Oh, spooky. I'm just the Talking Tremors podcast host. I don't exist. I did. I totally forgot to say my name in the beginning. Who am I? Woo! I am the ghost of fuck you, Universal. No, I will. Thank you, Michael Gross. That's my thank you. That's my real thank you. Thank you, Michael, for trying your absolute fucking best. Oh, and Burt Gummer's Subterranean Meme Stash. There it was. I knew I was forgetting somebody. And Nate Crabtree. Dude, now they're hitting me. They're coming to me thick and fast. But yeah, Meme Stash and Nate. Thank you guys. And then Michael Gross. Thank you guys all so much. Appreciate you all. Love you very much. And as always, fuck you, Universal. Shit. Shit. Okay.